Paul Burgon. I'm a partner with KittyHawk Ventures. We're an early stage through growth stage venture capital firm. We are an investor in technology, and I'm specializing in energy and climate technology, so that's why I'm here at New York Climate Week. But we're focusing on disruptive technology in energy especially that has a massive market. So the ability to drive efficiencies and gains in technological advances to help the average person. So we are destined for a climate crisis in about 18 to 24 months in the US. And we're trying as hard as we can to avoid as much of that as possible. Well, if we look at from 1900 to now, 125 years, the world has changed dramatically. So if I was talking to someone who was 100 years old, when they were born, we didn't have airplanes, we didn't have cars, we didn't have TVs, we didn't have the internet, obviously, we didn't have computers. It was a horse and buggy environment just 125 years ago. So think of the change for that 100-year-old person from now back to when they were born. It's amazing. Like they wouldn't recognize if they went into a deep sleep or a coma or something and then woke up. Now they wouldn't recognize the world that they live in, right?
Yeah.
So experts are saying that in the next 20 years, because of AI and quantum computing and all of the technological advances that we're seeing, that if you were to go to sleep now and wake up in 20 years, you probably wouldn't recognize the world that you wake up in. That's the amount of change that we're going to see in the next 20 years. We're entering a period of time of massive technological change that the world has never seen before. You know, I think when you talk about changes in healthcare, people get pretty excited to realize that we might fundamentally change the way that fatal diseases affect our health and the pain of aging. That's pretty exciting, right? The ability to harness AI to solve some of the world's biggest problems, whether it's healthcare or industrial or financial or social access to technology, you know, something that changes the way that you and I live on a day-to-day basis. That's pretty exciting. I mean, again, if you go back to the 70s or the 80s, I'm old enough to remember the 80s. I hate to say that. But look, if I look at my life in the 80s that I remember growing up in to now, it's very, very different, right? And for the most part, not always, we're much better off in terms of how technology has evolved. And so I would say, look at my example from growing up in the 80s to now, it's exciting. And I would say to you or anybody else, that next 20 years, for the most part, like it's not all positive, right? It's not all positive, but for the most part it's positive, and I think it's gonna be really exciting. Family offices are the source of capital, but they're also a source of passion and a desire for impact. And that's what we like at KittyHawk Ventures, and what I've been doing for most of my career is impact investing, right? We're not just financial investors. We don't want just a financial return. We're trying to cause real change in addition to a financial return that gets our investors excited in partnering with us to create that investment and that high impact. We found that when you marry both impact and financial returns, that's where real change happens. And the family offices and the investors are here at this event represent tens of billions of dollars of capital, right? That's real change. Like if just half of the investors at this event were to invest some meaningful portion of their family office wealth into high impact investments, think of the change that, I mean, I'll just pick a number, $10 billion invested in very high impact, high financial return projects would create around the world. $10 billion, compounding 20% a year, right? And after 5 or 10 years, those many investments could be the foundation of that change that you and I were talking about for the next 20 years, right? And so that's what's so exciting for me about this type of mashup, for lack of a better term, is you've got the capital, the passion, the education, the technology specialists, and the desire for impact. And all of that combined is an environment that is ripe for creating great returns for the investors, but to me, more importantly, really high impact.